Hi ladies, thanks for joining me. I'm Amber and I am your Saint makeup artist. So today I'm going to show you a really simple, easy, less than 10-minute way to highlight and contour your face, which typically would be something that would scare people away and it sounds very complicated, but I promise this is something anybody can do. It will take less than 10 minutes. It's like paint by number, simple concept with some revolutionary makeup. We do use cream foundation, and basically once you're color matched, you'll get all the things that you need and you can keep it all in one compact. So I'm going to show you how it's done. There's no right or wrong way to doing this. It can be done with your finger, it can be done with the brush, it could be done both ways, but again, there's no right or wrong way. So however you decide to highlight and contour or hack your face, I'm sure it will turn out great. You'll feel like you have a second skin. It's gonna look natural. It's gonna bring out a natural glow, and I promise you won't regret it. So let's get started. So as you can see, I have nothing on my face other than a little bit of moisturizer that I put on about 20 minutes ago. I try to leave a little bit of time between the application of my moisturizer and putting on my makeup, just so that way I don't get any tackiness or slippage of anything. And that's just something I learned when I first was color matched and when I started using this makeup. So it's worked for me, so it might work for you as well. One thing to remember before we even get started, less is more. So you're probably used to putting on a lot of makeup. If you were one who was using a liquid foundation, you put that on, you want it to stay on, it spreads all across your face. Well, with this cream, it's gonna take on your skin. It's gonna be like a second skin, so it's gonna melt into your face. You do not need a lot of product. You can always add more, but it's hard to take away. But if you make a mistake, you absolutely can fix it. However, start with less, you can always add more. Okay, so we're gonna do a Cheetah hack. This is super fun. It's just another way that we can show you guys how easy this makeup is. I'm gonna be using my finger, and then I'm gonna be using one brush to blend it out. Okay, so this is what the compact looks like. This is just one of our compacts. This holds quite a bit of product. So in here I have my accent highlights, which would be like a brightener. I have two different main highlights. So that's like your all over foundation you would use. This is more like a concealer. And then I have my contour color, and I have a bronzer and an illuminator that I like to mix together, because you can see this bronzer, it's just one brown tone, but this illuminator has a shimmer into it. So you mix them together and you get a little bit of a shimmer in your bronzer. So when you get color matched, which to do that, all you need to do is send me a makeup-free selfie, no filters, no makeup at all. You just stand in natural indirect light. So in front of a window, facing the window, not side next to the window like this. You want to actually be facing the window, about 3 to 4 feet away, and then I can color match you that way. You're probably going to be color matched with more than one color, but I'll send you everything you need and custom match you and personalize your profile, so that way you have the compact that is for your needs and has your preferences. All right, so basically we're going to start here with just these things. Not even all of them, but your hack is just your highlight and contour. So it's going to be your brightening highlight, your main highlight, and your contour. And then we'll get into the other things I'll show you later. Okay, so here we go. So we're gonna start with our contour. And again, we're gonna be using our finger. So my contour is indigo. This is one of the darker contours, and it's the one I'm using right now because I do have a tan still from summer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and I'm going to use my finger to put cheetah spots all over the frame of my face. So I'm framing my face out to kind of create the illusion of a shadow. So I'm gonna do that along my forehead. I'm gonna do it along my jawline. You can also do, a line like this if you don't wanna do the spots, but this is just to kind of show you how blendable the product is. So I'm putting this along my jawline because this is gonna create a nice shadow that goes down onto my neck and kind of slims my neck a little bit. So some of us have a rounder face, or we feel like we have a little bit of flub down there. So this will help kind of disguise that and create the shadow. Okay, so then I'm gonna go in here on my cheeks. What I like to do is I like to feel, so from the top of my ear, you can kind of feel down where your cheekbone is. And I want to go under my cheekbone. So if you can see, when I go like that, you kind of see that there's, or if I smile, there's a natural spot there where a shadow is going to hit. That's where you want to go. So you can feel it, and that's where we're going, which for me happens to be kind of where the top of my ear is, and it connects. Okay, so we're going to go down right under our cheekbone, and I'm not going in past the outside of my eye. Okay, just like that. And you can see, once I'm done and blend this in, you'll be able to see that nice, more defined cheekbone. It's just gonna raise it up a little bit. It's gonna narrow your face down a little bit. For me, I feel like it takes 5 pounds off my face. So you may agree once you see your final product as well. Okay, then I'm gonna go in and I'm going to put this down my nose because we wanna thin out our nose a little bit too. So I go up a little bit towards my eyebrow and down. Now this looks crazy already. You're like, this is not gonna work out. But I promise you, once it's all blended in, which it blends very, very easy and perfectly, there's like no mistakes. And it will all look seamless, I promise. Okay, so now we're gonna go in with our accent. So that was our darkest, that was our contour. This is going to be my accent, okay? So this is Moonlit, this is my accent color, and we're gonna put this in our T-zone and kind of where you would do a concealer, okay? So I'm just gonna dot that right there. I'm gonna put it right there. I'm gonna put it right here, right in the middle on my chin. And this is where we're drawing the light in. So we want the light to be drawn to the center of our face, bring it to our eyes. Okay, so that's why I'm putting this in that area, and it's gonna create this 3D effect. This is 3D makeup, right? So you don't wanna have a flat face that's one-dimensional. You wanna have a 3-dimensional face. Accentuate the good stuff, right? Accentuate the good and kind of hide the rest. But we don't need a lot of this stuff to do that. Okay, so I do that. I also will take this and put my accent on my lids, and this kind of acts like a primer. So this is a good base for me for when I do my eyes. And it just creates a nice neutral one color lid versus having, you know, the purples and the blues and stuff behind for when you put your shadows on. It's a really nice tip to follow before you do eyeshadows. And this is my brightener, so I use that for my T-zone, and I also use it on my lids. Okay, and then I'm also going to take this and go right down the center of my nose because we want it to look like we have a light hitting our nose in the right places. Okay, and I may have to touch this up after, but typically when I put my makeup on, even when I do this technique, I don't need to layer product on top of each other. Everything has its own place. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in. I do have, typically you would normally only need one main color, but I do have some redness and some blotchiness, so I like to use one more color as kind of an additional concealer to kind of hide some problem areas. So I'm using June for just some of this redness that I have. And I'm only putting it in a couple places. That's it. All right, but if you have any, well, we'll put some right here, we'll put some right there. How about that? That's pretty much it. I don't need it anywhere else, but it does help cover up some of the redness for me. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in with my main color, and this is amber. So amber for amber. And I'm putting this everywhere else that I didn't put my contour and that I didn't put my accent. So you're basically putting it in your, where you would have a beard. I know we don't wanna ever consider women with beards, but you know, that would be the beard area. And just filling in the spaces, that's it. And you don't need a lot. Like I said, this is such little product that's going on my finger, and I'm probably putting on a little bit more than I even normally would, and this is just because I need you guys to be able to see what I'm doing on camera. But typically you wouldn't even need as much. Don't forget to do your nose where you didn't put your other colors. Okay, so that's it. That's it. Okay, so I have that all on my face, and we're gonna go ahead and start to, well, actually, we can't forget the most important part. We need to put on some lip and cheek. So our lip and cheeks, they are both, basically. Our lip and cheeks can do blush, and they could be a lip. Here's just an example of some of the ones that I have. Look at all the different colors. We have fall colors, summer colors, spring colors, all the colors, neutral colors. Look at that. It's great, right? So I'm gonna take a color that you'll be able to see again for the camera. We're gonna go in with this color called Ruby, okay? Ruby's beautiful. It's a very pretty berry, raspberry color. We're going to put this right where you'd put your blush, okay? We don't wanna go in too far, but just enough so that way you're gonna have a little kiss of color right on your cheeks. If you're not a blush person, and a lot of people tell me that, try it, just a little bit. You could play with different colors. And again, if you aren't sure and if you just want something that's a little bit subtle, we can definitely color match you with that. So when I'm done, I will be able to put the same lip and cheek on my lips. All right, so now we're gonna blend. Okay, one brush. This is the blush and bronzer brush. Blush and bronzer brush. It's a tongue teaser, I promise it is. All right, so one brush is all we need to use. I'm gonna use the smaller, more dense side. This is a more fluffy side. So if you were doing a different application and you weren't having all these spots, I would say you could probably use the soft side to do that, to blend. But because we have all these spots, you kind of want to blend them pretty well and make sure that it melts together well. So I'm going to use this side. Now I'm not going to be pushing down and really scrubbing my face. I'm doing light little swirls and brush motions. So just pay attention to that. So we're going to start at the bottom, and I'm going to try to, again, create this shadow effect on my neck. So I'm going to be pulling this down, blending it in and pulling it down. Just like that. That's the only place we're gonna go down. Everywhere else we wanna lift our face, right? So instant facelift. So then here I'm gonna dab a little bit because I don't wanna take a lot of the product off. So I'll dab, but I'll swirl. I kind of do a combination of things. But here we're gonna swirl over, okay? Same thing here, we're gonna dab a little bit. And I'm gonna leave this side pretty much for you guys to see the difference, but just watch. All these spots are gonna disappear. I'm gonna be going in from one color to the next. So right here, I'm going into my contour and I'm blending this up. I just do a couple little swirls and pull it up towards my ear where I started and went down, but now I'm kind of gonna swirl up. And then I'm gonna melt these two together, my lip and cheek and my contour. So my contour just is right underneath that, and it still creates, look at the difference. You see that? It creates a really soft but noticeable shadow. And now I'm going right in. I just used a pink and a brown, and I'm going right in. I will dab underneath my eye a little bit, and I'm swirling up. Okay, and then I'll go here. And then I will take this contour and I'm gonna swirl into my hairline. You don't wanna have a line like this and have two different colors. So you're gonna swirl it into your hairline. Now look at that. Look at that coverage with those products with one brush in just minutes, right? Obviously it's taking me a little bit longer to show this and demonstrate this as I'm doing it on camera for you, but for the most part, if you're doing this by yourself, you're gonna do this in less than 10 minutes. maybe even less than 5 minutes. I've done that before. Depends on, you know, what I'm trying to go for here. So you could do it in the car, you could do it in the carpool line, you could do it quickly before work if you're rushing. Either way, I promise you, this is the easiest makeup ever, and it gives such a natural, pretty, glowing look with so minimal product. And it's easy. Anybody could do this. I never did this before, ever. This wasn't a thing for me. I was just a CoverGirl girl, and I didn't use any special products. It was like a liquid foundation, maybe some powder, but I felt like I just needed to upgrade my look because I felt flat. And as I got older, this side looks better because the lighting's different. You see that? As I started to get older, I felt like my skin just wasn't working well with the makeup that I was using before. So it was time, and I'm so glad. I will never go back. Sorry, CoverGirl. All right, here we go. So I'm only lightly doing my nose because I want to be careful not to overblend. And that's the other thing. If you feel like you aren't seeing the three-dimensional look, or you feel like it's just looking like everything's one color, you probably overblended. So you might have been swirling too hard. You might have just pushed a little too hard. You might have just overblended it. I mean, it's possible to do, but you can always go back and add more. That's the awesome part. So that's it. My main hack, so HAC, hack, highlight, and contour, is done. That's it. And look at that. It looks so nice. I feel like the coverage is there. I don't see that redness and blemish, you know, face anymore. I could go out just like this. I don't even need to do my eyes. I could put some mascara on and leave. I'd be fine. But we could take this one step further. So I'm going to show you how I do my brows. I use another brush. This is our line brush. And I just kind of shape my brow out a little bit with the spoolie side to get it how I want it. Okay, and then I'm gonna go into another contour color. Now you can use your main contour. Normally when we color match you, we try to pick a contour color that is good for your, it kind of matches your hair in a sense, like your roots, but it can also be used in your eyebrows. So I'm using a color called Shadow because over time I've found what works best for me. This is called Shadow. It is a contour, and I'm gonna use the angled side of this brush. And I'm gonna just lightly feather in my brows to finish these off, because I feel like a lot of people are afraid to do their brows. We're just used to them being the way they are, and you don't want them to look fake or overdone, you know, like penciled on. We don't want that look. But what we do want is a completed, upgraded look, right? And I feel like when I have my brows done, it just sets the tone, and I do feel more put together. I feel like I just had my brows done, even if they're overgrown and unruly. Could make them look a little bit more ruly, right? So again, I'm literally just, I go in my brow and I feather it in little flicks so that way it looks like natural hairs, and I'm not penciling it in so it's a thick straight line. And then I could go in and just shape them up a little bit if I need to. You could go over it with your spoolie if you feel like it went too dark. And again, it depends. What look are you going for? Are you going for straight across? Are you going for a fuller brow? Everybody's gonna have a different look that you want. But either way, I think this brow looks better than this brow. So we're gonna roll with it. All right, so I go up and I'm flicking, right? And down here, you might want to go across the bottom. Some people will go like that, just so that way you have that nice line. And then you kind of flick up, and you could do the line on the top too if that's what you want. I try to get mine to look as natural as possible. And not overdo it. And they will never be exactly the same. They are sisters, not twins. So don't continue to obsess over trying to have them be perfect, because it's probably never going to happen. But get them as close as you want, and you're good. Okay, brows are done. All right. So then, like I said, the next thing you can do, if you want, if you're going to use a lip and cheek, if you like to do your lips, either you can use a normal, we have a lip conditioner, which is like a lip balm. You could do that. I always put that on first. I already put that on. Then you could go in and you could take your finger. This is Ruby again, the same color I used on my cheeks. And just pop it on your lips. We have a brush that you could use, the multitasker brush, but you don't need it. You could go without, and you're good. You could use that bronzer. So if you want to go for a little bit more of a warm look, what I like to do, I use my blush and bronzer brush, which does come in a bundle with Bella Bronzer. I will take that and I'll either just go by it itself, or I'll use my Glow Illuminator, mix the two together, and I use the soft, fluffy side of my brush, and I just put a little bit on there, and I'll just give myself a little extra glow with that bronzer. So it's going close to where my contour was, but not in the exact same place. This is going more where the sun would hit, on the more pronounced part of my forehead. And then same thing, put a little bit here, kind of on the cheekbone. Same thing on this side. You don't need a lot. A little bit goes a long way with the bronzer, but see how that warms me up just a little bit more? So if you're in between colors and you just want a little bit of a warmer glow going into the fall or the winter, or going from spring into summer, the bronzer is a really good tool for that. But the other fun thing is you can actually take your lip and cheeks, you could take your illuminators, which I'll show you that, and you could even take, really, lots of things do many things. This is very versatile makeup. So I'm going to take this Glow Illuminator that I mixed with my Bella Bronzer, and I'm going to use this as a quick eyeshadow. So again, so far I've only used 2 different brushes. The brows are hard to do with your finger, so you kind of need an extra tool for that. But for eyes, you could take this Glow Illuminator. It's just a perfect little subtle touch to be out the door in a few minutes. And just rub that on, just like that. So now I don't have bare lids. We're good. And then for illuminator, the actual illuminator, we do have a powder as well. So that was a cream, this is a powder. You could take your finger, pop it in there, put a little bit right there on your cheekbone where the sun would hit, right above the cheekbone, the very peak of it, right? The highest point, and look at that. So when the sun hits it, it shimmers a little bit more. Now the makeup already gives us a nice little glow, but this gives us a little shimmer. So the creams can do that. The powders are just a little bit more obvious because the shimmer factor's there. I also like to take this and I will put it right here under my brow, right on my brow bone, and that helps give a little bit more of a highlight too. So really, again, we're enhancing the definition where we have definition on our face, which helps it look even more three-dimensional. That's the whole point of all this makeup. 3D cream-based foundation. It's amazing, guys. If you haven't used it yet, you're gonna love it. I promise you're gonna love it. You won't regret it. So don't forget, as I'm doing my mascara, don't forget, if you haven't yet, send in your makeup-free selfie for your free custom color match and recommendations for your personalized palette. And if you have any questions, or if you're already using the makeup and you need help with troubleshooting, shoot me a message. I'll help you. If I don't have the answer, I'm sure another artist does. We all work really well together, and we learn from each other, and we help build each other up because we all want to be successful. And, you know, I didn't learn how to do makeup overnight, let me tell you that. If I would have kept on my path that I was on, we wouldn't be here today. So anyways, thanks for watching. I hope that was helpful. That was the Cheetah hack. If you have any questions on that, let me know. And I hope you come back for more.